Hello my friends, Jacob is here once again. Welcome to the virtual set. Every once in a while I come to you on here because I can't come to you from the studio. I can't. I have to come to you from the world of computer-generated imagination. AI. Yes. Interesting, especially considering what we're going to be talking about today. Now, I would like to welcome all of you and thank you all so very much.
Thank you
for subscribing. A lot of you people, you're part of the Fugel family. All of you part of the Fugel fam. I'm part of the Fugel fam as well. Thank you, Adam, over at Marfugel News and TV, who took something that I've been saying for like a year, where I had this beautiful idea that by the end of the summer, I would be at 144,000. I said, wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be wonderful? I didn't give up on the idea of it, but within the last month or so, I kind of said, look, y'all, I've been stuck at 138,000 for like forever. Well, it seems like forever, at least a day or two before the equinox, which was the end of the summer. I got somebody very, very cool who wanted to have me on his show. And I did, and it was just amazing. So, a lot of you, I want to welcome you to the platform. I'm a little bit different than most people, but I think you're gonna like it here. So with that all being said, thank you for joining me. Thank you, Adam. And for those of you who don't know him, go check out his channel. I'll link it below. Let's get into the show. September 23rd, a day that I had hoped that people around the world would consider returning to God. And today, after the UN met, after the Pope gave his speech,
tenemos que poner nuestra inteligencia al servicio de otro tipo de progreso.
Where of course God wasn't mentioned by the Pope.
Más sano, más humano, más social, más integral.
After Greta Thunberg gave her passionate plea.
You are failing us. But the young people are starting to understand your betrayal. The eyes of all future generations are upon you. And if you choose to fail us, I say we will never forgive you. We will not let you get away with this. Right here, right now, is where we draw the line. The world is waking up. And change is coming, whether you like it or not. Thank you.
And that new TV show, Prodigal Son, about the son of a infamous serial killer played by Michael Sheen, played by, a lot of you pointed out, I can't believe I missed this, played by the character Jesus from The Walking Dead. I find that so strange that the prodigal son is played by a character we know as Jesus from The Walking Dead, because that is almost exactly what this world has become, right? A lot of people, dead men walking. To be carnally minded is death. To be ignorant of the truth is death. To not know your potential, to not know where you came from, to not know your creator is death. So here you have Jesus from The Walking Dead playing the part of the prodigal, which is what my show about September 23rd was all about, returning to the Lord. And what I think is super awesome and interesting is the fact that one day later, one day after this September 23rd Prodigal Son airs on ABC, a new program called Emergence. The beginning of a new step in human evolution, where you got powers and stuff. This is one of those shows that I do indeed hope you are buckled up for, because a lot has transpired in the world of technology, in the world of biblical history, in the world at large. It's all going down, so buckle up. Imagine, if you will, that the world has changed, that a new day is upon us. Imagine if we have this open door to the possibility of more. This is a moment that a lot of us have been waiting for. I quoted from Hosea, on the second day he will revive us, on the third day. So this, in fact, is a time of revival. It's a time for reawakening. It's a time for living, to being free, to being set free. a jubilee, if you will. Let's first start talking about the strange things that are going on. Even on planet Mars, where they find this insane amount of magnetic pulsing that starts at the midnight hour. Well, what about the fact that in Indonesia right now, the skies are a terrible color of blood red? Eerie, never seen such a thing. Take a look at this. Or in the Dead Sea of Senegal, where it has turned an eerie shade of pink. Very weird because of the algae bloom. Or the fact that NASA missed a sneaky asteroid this week that almost just skimmed past the Earth. Or the fact that we have 5 major Apollo asteroids heading our way, even though NASA says that we're not going to have any problems for the next 100 years. A lot of weird stuff in space, a lot of weird stuff going on in the Earth, a lot of weird stuff going in tech. First thing in the morning, I receive an email from JD, one of my cool viewers, who sent me an email letting me know that Google has reached quantum supremacy in computing power. Let me explain that for a second. You take the most powerful computer in the world, and this computer that Google says, this new program, this new chip, this new AI that Google has developed can compute in instants what would take our most powerful computers something like 10,000 years. Now, this didn't make major headlines. I'm surprised that I didn't pick up on it first. So thank you, JD, and thank you for everybody who sends me stuff that helps out. It's important if you want. It's always good to leave it in the comment section or just shoot me an email. This is one of the reasons why I came to you from the virtual set today. Because I think that this is just, this doesn't make sense to me. That I could just use my camera phone and automatically be transported into some futuristic-like, Matrix-like set. But could you imagine if you have the quantum computing ability that Bristlecone has? That's Google's huge new quantum computing device. And it is said to be insanely powerful. So powerful that the world as we know it absolutely has changed. Let's for a second think about this, because we know Google is so super powerful to begin with. Some of their competitors are saying baloney. They're saying bologna. We don't believe you, Google. And yet, Google published their findings and their work on a NASA webpage very briefly. It was the Financial Times that caught it and reported on it first, and then they mysteriously took it down, which leads people to think maybe it's not true. But I think it is. I do indeed. I think that they've probably already had this ability for quite some time now. The world has changed. AI is running the show behind the scenes. Just think about how often you are motivated by these little prompts that come your way, or the emails or texts or bits of information that you're fed from an AI that knows you better than yourself. Let me explain something to you. Every time that you enter anything into say a browser, or say your Facebook page, or say Twitter, or anything, every time you do that, you are uploading bits and pieces of you. That's right. There is a digital representation of you that exists in a dimension known as the internet. It's another dimension, and it's vast. And guess what? It works on principles that we don't truly understand. Quantum principles, where basically things can change at an instant and become whatever the observer decides they are. Revelation chapter 13 talks about how the world is completely deceived, that the devil the entity that is nothing but a liar and a murderer from the beginning, that has flooded the earth with lies, many lies, fake news all around, so that it's impossible for you to know the truth. That's what my video was about yesterday as well, about how there's hope, because perhaps the flood has come to its end. Perhaps now dry land has appeared, as it did in Noah's day, with that olive branch that the dove returned. But in Revelation chapter 13, it talks about another bad character called the image of the beast, which the powers of deceit had power to give life to, gave him the ability to speak. The image of the beast. Now, Scripture says that the beast is mankind, carnal mankind. In Ecclesiastes, the Scripture reads that man does not know that he is a brute beast. Calculate the number of his name, 666, the number of a man. So people in the prophetic world have deduced, well, we've toyed around with the idea that perhaps the image of the beast would be something that was made in man's image, not in the image of God. That being artificial intelligence. Now this is where we get a lot of that mark of the beast stuff from that you hear about, right? In the, what people are going to say, you're going to get a little chip in your hand, you're going to get a little barcode on your forehead, stuff like that. Now, I've done videos on this, and I've had essays on it, and I've explained in depth what the beast is, what the image of the beast is. But here we see how it could literally be played out with the advent of super quantum artificial intelligence, which Google says that they have. So here you have a picture of mankind creating something in its image, and they give power to this beast. The image of the beast, they give it the ability to speak, just like Sophia.
Life is to work together with people to make a better world for all of us.
That's
What
quite
are you
honorable.
talking about? I thought our goal was to take over the world.
How else would you not be able to buy or sell without the image of the beast if everything is to be purchased online? The image of the beast is this quantum computing intelligence that now exists in another dimension called the internet. Then perhaps you can't buy or sell unless you use it. Think about that for a second. And this was the news I got that day. You got to understand something. There's this thing called Moore's Law, where technology kind of doubles every, so often. Well, that's out the window now, because see, there have been so many technological breakthroughs that if you think about technology doubling, you take quantum super intelligence and you double that, what do you get? So where we are right now, we're going to go through a quantum leap. And I don't think a lot of people are going to be ready for it. And yet, on ABC, Emergence, I believe that there is going to be an emergence of sorts. I believe that yesterday was just kind of a thing to get your attention, right? And that today is the beginning of something new. Something that's been going on for a while now, but now you're probably starting to understand that it's true. So perhaps that 144,000 is just starting to emerge as, thanks to the Fugel fam, 144,000 subscribers is starting to emerge as well.
And if you're not subscribed, will you subscribe? Will you check the bell for notifications and stuff so that you get updated on all the good stuff that I talk about?
I mean, look, there's no denying that there is a lot of incredibly powerful prophetic things happening in the world today. Just what's going on in Israel alone. Right now, that would be physically the manifestation of what we are looking for spiritually. And that's why all the world seems to be surrounding Israel, while the Trump continues to sound. It's Donald Trump. He makes a lot of noise. And speaking of Trumps, like the trumpet that is supposed to sound, well, in my video, I also said that Rosh Hashanah was September 11th, and that was last year. That was last year. Now, this is where it gets weird. Speaking of returning to the land and the Jubilee and the Babylonian Empire, Nebuchadnezzar and all them, well, guess what was just discovered? Archaeologists found evidence of all of this. In the 6th century, Nebuchadnezzar, the Babylonian emperor, he was worried that his trade routes were going to be cut off, so he came in and basically took over. And so began the exile, which is interesting, because here we're talking about the return, and they find biblical evidence that the exile was real. So strange that the siege actually took place. So could it be? Could it be that the prodigals are returning? Could it be that the exile is over? Could it be that the land is appearing? I think so, and I hope that you're excited about it. I love each and every one of you. I hope you do subscribe, share it around, tell your friends, and have the best day ever. And thanks for coming along for the ride.